Hey guys, Ray from Lovey RV and Boat. Today I'm going to be looking at a multimeter from a company called, looks like Kaiweets. Wasn't too long ago, maybe 2 years, I got a hold of a clamp-on meter from this same company. One of my viewers had one that arrived DOA, and he got it replaced by the company and decided to send it to me to see if I could fix it, and I fixed it and been using it ever since, and it's worked well. So recently this company contacted me and asked if I'd like to review one of their multimeters. They call it Smart Multimeter, digital multimeter, arrived in this box here. The model's KM601s. So we're going to have a look at its functions, etc., and see how it works and do a few tests with it. Looks like it comes with a nice little carrying case here. Pop that open. There we go. Closer look at the accessories here. So this is a temperature probe. Right on the end here we can see a little probe so we can take temperature readings. I find this useful actually on the boat. I like to take temperature readings of the ocean and see if it's warm enough for swimming. Here's our power cable. So this has a rechargeable battery inside, so you don't need to replace batteries. You just plug it into a USB slot and it recharges the internal battery. And then we got a set of leads here, negative and positive. End caps to take off. And then I noticed here they have the covers so that you can use them like that with the full probe. Or if you're getting inside delicate electronics and you don't want to short things out, you can just have the very tip there showing. And then here's the unit itself. So we got multiple inputs here, a common for the negative, and then one input for when you're doing your voltages and resistance. And then over here we got two different current inputs. We got milliamp and amps, I believe. Yeah, 10 amp max there, and 630 milliamps there, 250 volts. On this side it's good to 1000 volts. And we have a few different buttons here. Range button, hold, a relative I guess, auto function with a couple arrows, and then we got a select, and looks like a flashlight, and min and max. So let's just try turning it on here. Oh, no, I see at the top we have a power button and then a little hole for putting the charger in. So we have to hold that down. Turn her on. There we go. A little bit of reflections here. So you can see it's in auto mode right now, and it's searching between the voltages and the resistance, and then there's a continuity tester. And then we have a bunch of different functions here. Up here we got diode test, capacitance test, millivolts, hertz for cycle tests, Celsius Fahrenheit temperature tests, NCV for non-contact voltage tests, milliamp current and amp current. And right now it's showing the temperature in Celsius. And it's in auto mode. Click here, go to manual mode. Oh, there we are, manual mode. So now I can see got DC, resistance, continuity tester. You can see up there it's saying in manual mode. Capacitance, DC millivolt, hertz, temperature, contact tester, and then the milliamp and amp, and you can see it's asking for the lead to be put in. So yeah, it tells you which leads, depending on what function you're at. It's flashing there to put it in when I select a function. That's kind of cool. So let's put our leads in. Red. Oh, took the cap off here. There we go. So we're in DC mode there. And we can change the function here. Oops. Different ranges. You can see the decimal point moving there. Select button turns it to AC, true RMS, AC mode there. Back to DC, and min max, and a hold. Switch up to temperature here. Yeah, in temperature mode it shows the Celsius here, but also shows Fahrenheit there for my American friends. So let's try some tests. Display looks pretty good, but I have a feeling it's not going to look so good outside because it is one of these backlit type color displays and they always seem to be a problem outside. So we're going to test AC-DC voltage and see how the auto ranging works. Hopefully you can see the display there. I'm just going to turn this on, turn on the DC here, and I have a couple of leads I can hook up, and we should be able to see if the voltage figures it out. There we go. Took a little bit, but it's showing 13.41 volts, and yeah, it auto ranged. So I'm going to disconnect that and I'll put them in the AC holes here. Oops. There we go. And we got 121 volts AC, so it automatically figured out what the voltage was and displayed it, so the auto range does seem to work. Pull that out, and I'll try a continuity test here. It should figure that out. It does. So that's pretty cool. So it automatically, you don't have to think about whether you're on DC or AC or doing a continuity test. The thing figures it out on its own. Try that again with the DC. And there we go, 13.4 volts. Let's try hooking it up opposite. Make sure it sees the negative. There we go, negative 13.42 volts DC. So, seems to do the trick. While we're here, let's test the charge cable. Right at the top, there's a place to plug in the charge cable, so we'll try that while we have a USB outlet here. Okay, plug it in the top, and there we go, showing 80%, and then we got a charging motion going on there. So that's kind of cool that you can just charge it up rather than having to change batteries. At the back here, there's a little kickstand for it. So you can just set it up like that. And there's also a flashlight. And there's a place down here, if you, I guess if you hold it, the flashlight will come on. There we go. It's not super bright, but it'll help if you're measuring in dark places. Maybe let's try some of these other things. Let's try a temperature test next. Okay, so the air temperature in here is 16 Celsius or 61 Fahrenheit. Just going to put it in my RV fridge here. Let's see if she figures it out. And you can see the temperature is dropping. So yeah, that's pretty close. It's on the top shelf of my RV fridge. And it should be just close to freezing up there. Pretty close. It's going below freezing now. I don't know if it's actually that cold in there. Let me check. Oh no, it's pretty close. Mine is showing a little bit below freezing on the top shelf as well. Try the bottom shelf. I don't know, it seems a little low to me. I'm going to try a different thermometer I have, actually one that's made for testing fridges. We'll compare the difference. Okay, so I've let them settle in there in the same spot. And this one's showing 32 Fahrenheit, 0 Celsius, so basically freezing. And that's on the bottom shelf. This one's showing 37.8 Fahrenheit, and that would be more accurate to what my fridge is set at and how the bottom area where I keep vegetables would be. So I think this is reading a little bit low. Just going to try with my IR temperature gun, see what it says. IR gun showing around 34.4. So kind of in between, I guess. So I'll put both in the freezer and I kind of let them sit in there for about 10 minutes. And they are tracking fairly close. This one keeps going from 13 to 12. This one says 12. So maybe I didn't leave it long enough. This one seems to have quite a slow response to the temperature, whereas the meter there is quite quick in its response. Let's do a comparison for just room temperature. They're sitting side by side. 68, 67.8. And this measures 67, 67.3. So pretty close. So those are 3 different use cases that RVers would be able to utilize the voltage, AC and DC voltage measurements for your batteries and your power. And also the temperature measurements, handy to see if your fridge is working right, your freezer. Also you could put it up near your AC and make sure the air temperature is coming out nice and cool. Kind of check your different vents. Let's check another interesting one is the non-contact voltage test, just to see if there's power at a plug. So let's try with this toothbrush that Ann has plugged in and charging. So do you just put the end near the cord? You can see then we know there's live power going through that cord. If it's just green, it means it's weak. I'm kind of a little bit away from it. You can see there's a green light at the top. Faster and red when you get right on the power there. Another way is you can plug in a lead into the red and put it right in the socket. So just plug this in. There we go. So we can put it right in. That's not the hot, that's the neutral. There we go. So you would know, okay, I have live power there. Kind of non-contact. It's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, in this method, you actually have to go in and contact it. This way it's basically a non-contact, picks up that there's power in there. And you got high and low if it's a little ways away. But that could be handy for people. See if a circuit is live. While we're here, we just check the Hertz function, which is cycles per second. So it's showing here 60 cycles. That's not usually average RVer is not going to use that unless they figured the campground wiring was faulty or something was wrong with the campground wiring. But in North America, it's going to be right around 60, pretty constant. Other parts of the world use 50 Hertz. Anyway, it seems to be working. It's showing 60 Hertz. It's actually measuring what's coming out of my inverter. Let's just switch over to voltage. See if it can auto range here. It's supposed to know it's DC. Wasn't in auto mode. Okay, 121 volts AC. So it didn't hurt anything when I put that in, even though I wasn't in auto mode. Let's just go back to non-auto. And we'll go to there. And we're in DC mode. We're in the wrong mode there. Switch to AC mode. Oops, sorry. Where's the select? There it is. There we go, AC select. Auto ranges, and there, 121. Set up a quick current test here. So I've set it to 10 amp mode. I have an LED bulb there, so I put it in the meter in line with a couple test leads showing 0.059 of an amp DC. So we'll switch over to the lower mode, milliamp mode, and plug that in. And there we go, 61.2 milliamps. And there's also kind of an analog gauge there. I guess if you were testing something that was changing in current, it would go up and down. Try that again. You can see milliamps reads out right there. Off. Should be able to see the mode change up there. Yeah, it changes to amps. And we got 0.059. So not exactly, because the other one said 61. This one's a little bit different, it's saying 59. Try that again. See, it's asking for the lead. Put it in there. Yeah, 61. So there's a little bit of difference between those. So this one would probably be closer because it's a smaller range. This little LED bulbs that I use in the rigs of marker lights. I changed all the marker lights from incandescent to LED. You can see it saves a lot of energy. Let's try one of these smaller bulbs, incandescent. Oh, I just blew the fuse inside because I forgot and set it up so something higher than that. So there is fuses inside, so that's good that I did that, so I'll be able to show you where the fuse is that needs to be changed. We'll go back to 10 amp. And you can see that draws 1.42 amps, which would be 1400 milliamps, and this is only good for 630 milliamps. You think, I guess it's not smart enough to know that you've overloaded that, so it blows a fuse internally. You can see the difference though between LED and incandescent, how much more incandescent draws. Anyway, let's take it apart and find out where that fuse is that I'm going to have to change. Just before we do that, I'll just show you a common use case you would do if you wanted to check a fuse. This is like the fuses a lot of RVs have in their DC fuse panel. So you would just put it in auto mode, and if the fuse is good, you get a nice beep. It would switch to continuity mode, and you get that nice beeping sound. Okay, pretty easy to get at them. There's one screw to take out with a small Phillips screwdriver, and you can see there's two fuses there for your current measurements. If you do a boo-boo like me, one of those will be blowing. I'm just going to pull those out and see which one it is. Okay, so it does say in there 10 amp is the lower one, 630 milliamp is the top one, and that fuse is definitely blown. I used actually the continuity tester to check that. The 10 amp is okay. Put that one back. So I'm going to need to get myself another one of those. They're very inexpensive. Looks like it's a slow blow type fuse. Usually a slow blow has this kind of white coating. In case you just kind of get a spark or something, it doesn't blow. You actually have to be measuring the current for a while before the fuse will pop. Let's do a couple other quick tests. Probably most RVers won't be using this unless you're fixing your circuitry, but we'll try a diode test. There's a diode down here. Let's put it across. And we got 0.68 of a volt. That's normal for a type of diode it is. And the other way, we don't have anything, so diode test is indeed working. Try that one more time. Yep, 0.68. Let's try a resistor. A resistor there. Brown, red, black should be 12 ohms. Give it a measure. .6. Pretty close. I would think it would be closer. Could be something wrong with that resistor, because actually this was a faulty board. Let's see if I can find a different resistor. Here we go. This one's brown, black, red, so it should be 1,000 ohms. Let's give that one a test. Yeah, 1 kilo ohms, 1,000 ohms. So I guess that other resistor was maybe damaged. So looks like it's working. Just out of interest, I tried the capacitor test. I don't really have very many capacitors with me to try. I took a few off of a little scrap board, and I was able to measure this little 10 microfarad. Tried 100 microfarad, but that was beyond its range, so that's as high as it goes. So I doubt anybody that's really seriously into measuring capacitors would use a meter like this, but I thought I'd just test that it did work. Well, there you go. That's a look at the Kaiweets KM601s meter. So my overall opinion of it, pretty decent for how inexpensive it is. I'm quite surprised how feature packed it is. I like the auto ranging mode. I like that it has all the different functionality. Leads aren't too bad. You get a little case. Two things that I don't like: there's no way to get rid of the beeping, which can get annoying. I'm not really a fan of beeps, so I like a way to kind of disable the beeps. And then the number one negative in my mind is fine for indoors, but you know you want to use it for working on your car or outside if you want to test solar stuff or whatever. Say I was outside on the roof. Pretty quickly the display becomes useless. Let's go out in the bright sunshine. You can see, so a liquid crystal display like I have on my Fluke meter, I can see in all sorts of brightness situations. Also, there's quite a bit of reflection sometimes on the display, and you really got to have it tilted just the right way or you can lose it as well. So visibility of the display is not that great, but overall not a bad little meter. Till next time, Ray from Love You RV and Boat. Cheers, guys. Oh, and P.S. I found another negative. The case is so small that you can't really put it away with the leads on it. So every time you go to put it away in the case, you have to take the leads off. It would be nice to kind of wrap up the meter and throw it in the case, but just a small quibble.